Sequels are notorious for being major letdowns, never quite recapturing the magic of the first. So is the new NIO ES6 a Jaws revenge moment, or is it The Godfather Part 2? I'm Will, beyond the Great Wall. That is the brand new NIO ES6, and this is China Driven. Let's be frank, when the ET7 launched the NT2 platform, there was a lot of excitement. I actually bought one, but it didn't shift as many units as some thought it might do. And when the ET5 came along with promises of BMW 3 Series beating sales, some were hyped and some were dubious. So far, the ET5 hasn't quite hit the spot in China, but for all the reasons that the ET5 hasn't hit the spot in China might be the exact reason why the brand new ES6 just might. After all, SUVs reign supreme here. Rear space has always been a higher priority for Chinese consumers than driving dynamics, and the ET5 sporty setup can leave something to be desired for comfort-conscious buyers on poor, broken urban streets. The all-new ES6 seems to straddle the line between comfort premium and decent driving dynamics, far better than, say, the ET5. NIO could be onto a winner here. With the NIO ET5 being the entry-level sedan in the NIO model lineup, the all-new NIO ES6 re-enters the lineup as the entry-level SUV, with prices starting $52,000 for the 75 kilowatt-hour battery version with a claimed 490 kilometers of range. The larger 100 kilowatt-hour is going to cost you $60,000, but has a range of 625 kilometers. Fully optioned out with a bigger battery will set you back around $74,000. Even though this is NIO's entry product, it's still a premium product. Obviously, being a NIO means you can opt for BaaS, and that drops the entry into the NIO ES6 for both the 75 kilowatt and the 100 kilowatt battery to only $42,000. The 75 kilowatt going to cost you about $140 a month, while the 100 kilowatt will cost you around $240. Here in China, owners can have up to 6 free battery swaps a month if they forego a home charger. The quickest way to describe the exterior styling of the all-new ES6 is it's basically a mini all-new ES8. And that definitely isn't a bad thing. Of course, it is wearing the new NT2 face now, and it has certain things like the pass-through here for better aerodynamics. But apparently, so far, this is the widest car that NIO currently sell. So it is a very simplistic and smooth front end, but you definitely know it's a NIO. The biggest styling change for me has to be that straight belt line. I think it makes it look super clean, and being unburdened with fussy chrome is only a good thing. It still has that double bone line that the first ES6 had, but now it has rounded wheel arches rather than being juxtaposed by the first generation's square ones. A really clean back end with those lovely wide hips, giving it a bit of a sporty feel. Up in the rear spoiler is a hidden wiper, also a hidden third brake light. For the trunk space in the back, you're looking at 579 litres, and under the trunk floor, there's another 100 litres that you could use for, say, a charging cable if you're in Europe. ADAS for the new ES6 is the same as the other NT 2.0 platform cars, including 7-8 megapixel cameras and a roof-mounted LiDAR. It's also equipped with quad NVIDIA Orin X chips to crunch all that data. As standard, the ES6 comes with NIO Pilot, that's NIO's level 2 ADAS system, and for a monthly subscription you can get the NOP, which basically is NIO's navigation on autopilot. Now, city steering is supposedly coming later in the year. Right now, NIO kind of seems a bit behind XPeng and Chang'an, who are already rolling out beta testing. They shouldn't be far behind once the year's out. We did have a go at the newest version of NOP Plus. Now, I've been a beta tester of NOP Plus in my ET7 since the end of last year, but I have to say this latest update does seem to be running a lot more smoothly, changing lanes and confidently following the navigation. The all-new NIO ES6 will be delivered with the latest Banyan OS, Banyan 2.0, and supposedly it will be pushed to my ET7 via OTA in the near future. I don't want to deep dive into it right now, but what I can tell you is there's a big difference from the version that I'm currently running. Driving around on this closed mountain road today has been actually quite fun because the all-new ES6 actually handles quite decently, and it's got more than enough power, even though this is technically the slowest NIO NT2 car. Surprisingly, even though this doesn't have air suspension like the ET5, this does come with CDC, and there is a marked difference in the suspension tuning and feeling between comfort and its stiffest mode. I'll drive a little bit quick around these bends here and just show you that it can easily go around here, holds the road very nicely. The brakes are really progressive and decently strong. And of course, being an EV, as soon as you get out of the corner, you can just punch it to the next one. Obviously, you can't compare the way this drives to, say, the ET5, but what we could say is something along the lines of you get 80% of the performance with 120% of the practicality. Undoubtedly, the normal place you're going to find an ES6 is out on the roads. This basically has very similar underpinnings to the ET5, although unlike the ET5's double wishbone front suspension, this has multi-link in both the front and the rear, so obviously it's more comfort orientated. In terms of the motors in here, you're talking the same motors as that's in the ET5, so your 360 kilowatts of power and 700 newton meters of torque, with a claimed acceleration to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.5 seconds. However, on the airstrip, we managed a 4.35 with 2 people in the car. Just like the ET5, the PSM motor is on the rear axle, so it's not all just about comfort. This new ES6 does feel somewhat sporty when you're driving it. Elephants in the room. You see, the ET5 and this new ES6 are essentially both entry-level products for NIO, but the interior of the ES6 definitely gives off a more premium feeling. The ET5 interior materials are definitely a step down compared to other NIOs, but here we're greeted with just a sea of Napa leather that comes all the way down into the center console, rather than the ET5, which here is actually just plastic. There is Karun material in here, but it's just reserved for up on the dash. It's not a very prominent material inside this cabin. Screen-wise, you get a 10.2-inch digital instrument panel, a 12.8-inch central OLED touchscreen, and unlike the ET5, you do get a heads-up display. There's a 5G connection in here, 3-zone AC, and of course, the newer updated wireless charger. There's also the optional NOMI head, which I think is a must in a NIO. Don't you listen to those naughty German reviewers who say you're annoying. You'll also get the same 23-speaker, 1,000-watt Dolby Atmos spatial audio system in here, so your music's gonna sound decent. Now, NIO's made a bit of fuss about these self-developed seats. They're 20-way adjustable with a 4-way headrest adjustability as well, and I have to say, they are pretty comfortable. As standard, they come with heat in all 4 seats, but you can upgrade to ventilated and spa massage function as well for the front 2 seats. Another option, which was definitely a favorite on the NT 1.0 platform cars, is you can option the front passenger seat as the Queen's seat, which will allow it to go into a mode called zero gravity mode, and it also has a footrest as well as the calf rest. Honestly, these seats are deeply padded, but the spa massage function is more, what's the word, vigorous than in my ET7, and that's because the little nubjules that kind of massage you in the back, they actually extend far more than they do in the ET7. It's actually pretty damn nice. And another big benefit of these self-developed seats is they're actually quite slim for their side profile, so it gives you a bit more extra room in the back. And leg room is plentiful back here, as so is the headroom. And you've obviously also got this opening panoramic roof that also has an electronic sunshade. Going back to the materials just for a second in here, now this is a micro suede headliner, and on top of all the Napa leather, lower down you will find some harder, cheaper plastics, but instead of metal, there's a lot more of this kind of acoustic sound material over the speaker grills, similar to what you find in the ET5. All the materials waist up are nice and soft. These seats are super comfortable back here, nicely padded, and also they have electronic adjustment as well to recline the seats back. It's really easy to get comfy in the back of this car. Inside, you don't feel shortchanged. The materials in the back, just as the front, feel premium, as does this whole car. Although this is an entry-level NIO, it feels every bit a NIO. The small things like soft closing doors, acoustic glass, CDC, and better interior materials just gives it that edge over the ET5 in terms of delivering that luxurious premium feeling associated with NIO products. So is it a sequel flop or is it a smash hit at the box office? For me, I think that NIO has knocked it out the park with this all-new ES6. It looks fantastic, it drives fantastic. This is where I think the entry point to NIO should be. That is the brand new NIO ES6, and this is China driven.